Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. So, Tom Clancy's The Division, Ubisoft's hybrid looter-shooter MMO, recently got its much anticipated and much needed next free content update, Update 1.4, which the developers of the game have been building up anticipation for how Update 1.4 is supposed to change and improve The Division in a number of ways. Now, I already loved and greatly enjoyed The Division the way it was, but I have to say, Update 1.4 is simply phenomenal, and if any of you have been holding back and been a bit cautious about purchasing The Division, well, I have to say, Update 1.4 has greatly increased the enjoyment factors, the endgame, replayability factor, and just the overall progression system and loot system of the game. Also, the Dark Zone is no longer a guaranteed death trap. Yay! I have to say, Update 4.1 has impressed me in how much new life it's breathed into The Division, a video game I was already coming back to daily, weekly, consistently to get new loot drops and make my Division agent the best agent he can be. But now with Update 1.4, hooey, I am lucky that I can implement some self-control and have a need to play a multiple variety of video games, because if not, I would probably be hooked on The Division right now. Because the changes and additions in Update 1.4 really are just that good and make The Division just that much better. Seriously, if you were on the fence about getting The Division, Update 1.4 has rectified many of the game's faults and/or mechanics and features that some felt unsatisfying. So a very basic rundown about what Update 1.4 has done. Lower level enemies are no longer as bullet spongy. Loot drop rates have been dramatically increased, so much so to the point that random patrols and mobs of enemies that you encounter in the open world, which usually aren't that tough to take down, can now drop and consistently drop high-end gear. The endgame of The Division is now basically focused on just constantly rewarding the player, not only making the player feel more powerful, but giving you more loot than you know what to do with. So you can gain loot from random patrols in the open world, you gain loot by replaying story missions and doing daily missions, and completing daily challenges and objectives, you gain loot through high-value targets, you gain loot, of course, by exploring the Dark Zone, and now you gain loot simply for leveling up. Once you hit max level 30 in The Division, once you hit endgame, your experience bar no longer disappears. Instead, you now gain XP, building up to a new supply loot crate, with guaranteed high-end gear inside. Playing this latest version of The Division, I felt simply overwhelmed with loot and rewards. And I can't tell you how good that felt, that now I'm just constantly given all these options, and I'm able to customize and upgrade my character at a much faster rate than before. And I'm now able to tackle the most challenging high-end game content in The Division, that of course being the Dark Zone PvP, and The Division's version of raids, Incursions. But not only that, The Division has upped the challenge with all new world tiers. World tiers basically being a new form of difficulty settings. You already have the difficulty settings of normal, hard, challenging, and heroic. But now, once you hit endgame, you can change the world tier difficulty, which, while making enemies even more dangerous, with more damage and health of course, but the higher the world tier, the guaranteed highest of high-end loot. And to top it all off, The Division has also made some wonderful quality of life changes that, even though being small, all add up to make The Division just a much more accommodating experience. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, I already love The Division as it was. But to be totally honest, Update 1.4 is just superb, absolutely superb, and it just elevates The Division in such a great way. It's really great to see the game's publisher, Ubisoft, and the game's developer, Massive Entertainment, go out of their way to listen to community feedback and really, truly make The Division for the better. However, I would like to address a complaint with Update 1.4. That being, with Update 1.4, now that the game is so rewarding and so generous with loot, it's almost too much loot. Before, you'd spend hours working hard and grinding and really earning those rewards, but now they're just dispensed like candy. Now, I can kind of understand the argument that if you're not putting in the effort to earn those rewards don't have as much value. Again, I can see that, I can kind of understand that, but I countered that with 2 points. One, all the loot is still RNG based. While now in The Division you are guaranteed to get loot, it's not necessarily going to be the loot that you want or the loot that suits the character build you're going for. And that just so happens to combo with counterpoint number 2. Now that loot is so abundant, not only does it grant players a higher chance to get enough good gear that they can start getting into the more challenging and and more rewarding content early on, without having to grind for dozens or hundreds of hours till they can actually do well in the Dark Zone or in an incursion. But also, it just gives everybody a fairer chance to go for that character build they're going for. I think we can all agree that playing the Division is about trying to build your perfect Division agent. Do you want your agent to have mad DPS, one-shotting enemies? Do you want to be an unstoppable tank and shrug off bullets and grenades? Or do you want to be the ultimate support class where all your special abilities completely change the tide of battle upon activation? Or a mix of all three? With the changes and additions in Update 1.4, players are no longer forced to grind away for hours and pray they get that piece of gear that actually lets them customize their character the way they want. Now players new and veteran, being rewarded with this abundance of loot, really truly allows them to customize their character the way they want. And that's just great. That's awesome for everybody. Also, it gives everybody a much fairer chance in the Dark Zone. Before, the Dark Zone and incursions were literally the only way to get half-decent loot that let you do better in the Dark Zone and in incursions. But now with the updates and improvements to the Division's PvE, regular players just doing the story missions, search and destroy missions, high-value target missions, and if you have the DLC, the Underground, now all have the opportunity to get good gear, go into the Dark Zone, and not get one-shot by other players. On top of that, head into incursions and not get one-shot by the high-level enemies in the incursion. Overall, however, I simply cannot recommend and praise the Division and its latest update 1.4 enough. Like so many video games that have come out this year in 2016, with each and every free content update, a game that I already love has gotten even better. Hallelujah. Anyways, guys, that's been a video. I hope you liked the video. If you indeed liked the video in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved with the video. If you hit the like button, please leave a comment. What are your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the Division and update 1.4? Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section below. I love reading comments. I get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. And if you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you want to help out and support me directly, then please consider pledging and becoming a patron on my Patreon. Anyways, guys, that's been a video, and I'll see you all later.